If you're ready to level up your points and miles game, you need to learn how to leverage the Turkish Airlines Miles and Smiles program. You can use Turkish Airlines to fly to Hawaii for only 7,500 points, you can fly in nearly 20 hours of business class around Europe for only 45,000 points, or even spend 10 hours in ANA business class, which is one of the best business class products in the world, for only 35,000 points. Let's jump into the step-by-step tutorials for how to do just that. Okay, here we're going to go over the base case for how to use Turkish Airlines to save on United Airlines flights. So, rather than starting with Turkish Airlines, we're going to start with United.com. We're going to click on One Way, Book with Miles, Flexible Dates, and let's go ahead and search from Nashville over to Denver. We're going to search pretty far out. Let's do March, one adult in economy for now. If you have a United account, don't log in, because if you have something like the United Explorer card that's going to give you access to more award space, that award space isn't going to show up with partner airlines like Turkish, so you actually don't want to log in. Next, you're going to look for where there's these green prices, which are going to be the cheapest ones, and that's where we're most likely to find award space. So let's check on March 12th. Here, we see that we do have some saver space from Nashville over to Denver on March 12th. So now we go over to Turkish Airlines, and if you don't already have an account, you're going to make an account with them. It is a little bit confusing for how to make an account. Your password needs to be only numbers. You can't have any letters or special characters in there. It has to be exactly 6 digits, and they cannot be continuous digits or repeating digits or anything like that. So you can't have 111111. You can't have 1 2 3 4 5 6. It's very confusing, and they don't actually list those rules anywhere. People just figure them out and then share it on the internet. So make an account with Turkish, and then rather than clicking on award ticket, buy a ticket with miles, that's not where you want to click for this example. Where you want to actually go is click on your name up here. And you're going to scroll down and click on Miles Transactions. And where you see Star Alliance Award Ticket, click Book Now. And then we are going to search for that same route. So we are searching from BNA over to Denver. We saw that on March 12th. Search one person for now and click Go. So here we can see the same flight for 7,500 miles, either for this flight or this flight. And that would be a fraction of the price than what this flight is going for in United's own website, where we can fly the same thing for about 15,000 points. So one of the most popular routes that people like to use this Turkish Airlines Miles and Smiles route on is to fly to Hawaii for only 7,500 points. So here we are going to test a route all the way from Newark, New Jersey, one way, book with miles, flexible dates to Honolulu. We're going to go far out in the calendar in April, one adult in economy for now. Let's see what we've got. So we're looking for the green ones. Here's a saver award space on March 19, and we can confirm that it says saver space right here from Newark to San Francisco over to Honolulu. Let's see if this shows up on Turkish Airlines. So here on the Turkish website, we are going to go from Newark. Let's just search for all of New York at once, and then we can go over to Honolulu on March 19 for one person. And since this is such a popular route, you know you've done the correct steps if you've gotten to this screen where you can see that there is partner availability, but unfortunately there are no seats available because it's such a popular route to go from New York to Hawaii using this trick. So that's when we might need to do some positioning flights, try other islands, and see what we can get from there. For example, if instead of New York, we are searching from Chicago over to Honolulu, I looked at the flexible date calendar. They have more saver space, which is a little bit more promising. So I'm searching on March 12, and they have quite a few different options for saver flights, also promising. So if we search for that on the Turkish Airlines website, from Chicago to Honolulu on March 12 for one person, you will see that we have economy class from 7,500 miles. Almost all of them are sold out because it's such a popular route, but we do have one flight option left here where it is 7,500 points to fly from Chicago to Los Angeles over to Honolulu. If you are already completely confused, or your mind just got blown by the fact that you can use Turkish Airlines to fly from the continental US to Hawaii for cheap, we can get you up to speed with our free course at geobreezetravel.com/free course. It covers everything that you need to make your first points redemption, and it even has bonus lessons for how to get status with different airlines and hotels quickly, and a free hotel upgrade email template that you can use to get free upgrades and amenities at different hotels. If you're going to be flying to Hawaii, that hotel upgrade email template definitely comes in handy. I even used it to get an upgrade from a standard room to this $1,000 suite at the Waldorf Astoria in Maui. Download the free course at geobreezetravel.com/free course, which you can find in the description box. Not only does Turkish Airlines have a fantastic partner program, but the Turkish Airlines product is not half bad either. I flew Turkish Airlines from Greece to Newark last year, and my favorite part was definitely the food. Turkish Airlines has an onboard chef and some of the best culinary offerings of any airline I've flown so far. Also, they have these fantastic amenity kits. Here's how to score some great flights on Turkish Airlines. If you want to fly on Turkish Airlines' own metal, this process actually becomes a little bit easier. When you go to turkishairlines.com, you don't need to do the whole click on your name, click on Star Alliance partner flights. You just click on award ticket, buy a ticket with miles. This is where this actually comes in handy. And let's say as a base case, we wanted to go from Chicago over to Istanbul, which is the hub airport, so we should be able to find tons of availability. We don't have to go through the United page right now because it's not a partner flight. It would just be on Turkish Airlines' own metal. So let's say we wanted to go, I don't know, somewhere out here, March 5th. And then let's see if we can find any business class availability as well for one adult. Here we can see that we could fly from economy for starting at 30,000 miles or in business class for 45,000 miles from Chicago over to Istanbul. So if it's only 15,000 more miles, I would definitely try to experience Turkish Airlines business class going from Chicago over to Istanbul. And there is plenty of availability this way, or it says best deal of the week with the stars. If you wanted to go the next day after that, you will have a similar price, similar availability. Since it's a direct Chicago to Istanbul flight, you should find plenty of availability for this particular route. That 45,000 miles to fly to Europe actually extends through if you wanted to connect through Istanbul to another city in Europe using Turkish Airlines Miles and Smiles. So for example, let's click on award ticket, buy a ticket with miles. Let's say that instead of going just to Istanbul, you wanted to go to Greece, pretty close by. So let's say Chicago over to Athens, one way, and we wanted to go in March again. Something weird might happen here. So for example, let's say in March 6th, you want to go in business class, one adult. Here it's going to say that it's 107,000 miles in business class, but still 30,000 in economy, which is pretty high, and I wouldn't want to pay that much to fly one way over to Europe in business class. But if we instead click on March 5th, that price goes down to 45,000 miles. So what is going on here, and how do you make sure you find a date that has the best price? The best trick I've found for this is by going to United and then saying if we wanted to go from Chicago over to Greece, one way, book with miles, flexible dates, and this was in March for one adult, click on business class here and then find flights. And then the two dates we were looking at were March 5th and March 6th. So this one has saver space on March 5. And what you want to do once this loads is do a control find and see if any of these are operated by Turkish Airlines and if there's business class availability over here on the next day going from Chicago to Istanbul to Athens. If it's released on United's partner availability, that's when I think it's going to have the 45,000 mile price over on Turkish Miles and Smiles. Whereas on the next day, on the 6th, once these load, all of these are operated by Lufthansa, all of these are Lufthansa. If we do Control F for Turkish, it does not show up at all on this page, and that's why I think the price is going to be so much higher on Turkish Airlines' own site. Let's do one other example for March 4, where let's see if Turkish Airlines shows up at all here. Turkish Airlines is not showing up over here at all, but on March 4, we do still have one left at 45,000 miles. And on March 3, we are back to 107.5 thousand. So, all right, let's try one more. March 2nd to see if my system actually works. So March 2nd, you will find that 45,000 point price again. And here we do have the Turkish Airlines. So I'm like 3 out of 4 for my system working to see if you can find the lower business class price on Turkish Airlines by using United. Sometimes it might just be faster to click through the different dates on Turkish Airlines' own website if you don't want to flip between United and Turkish Airlines in order to see which dates have that cheaper availability to fly from the US over to Europe for 45,000 miles. If you are flying on Turkish Airlines metal, a lot of times that 45,000 point price will apply even if you are having to backtrack quite a bit, like you're flying all the way from the US to Turkey and then back into Western Europe. So for example, if we click on award ticket, let's say that we wanted to go all the way from San Francisco to Germany. But if we're doing this on Turkish Airlines rather than clicking through the Star Alliance partner flights, then we are going to be backtracking quite a bit to fly from California over to Istanbul, back to Germany. Let's say that we want to do this on March 6th. And here we do have that flight for 45,000 miles where you do fly all the way to Istanbul and then back to Frankfurt. And you can take a layover in Istanbul if you want, but you would have to call Turkish Airlines Miles and Smiles if you wanted to do that, which is a process. They don't have the best customer service. But if you did want to take a layover in Istanbul, you can fly San Francisco to Istanbul, have your layover, and then have your stopover, and then fly from Istanbul over to Germany, all for 45,000 miles. Again, this price does not apply every day. If you wanted to go the following day, then we are back up to the higher points price of 115,000 miles. So you do sometimes just have to click around to see what dates are going to be a little bit better. And 45,000 is the best price that you can get. So if you find one that has 45,000 points going from the US through Istanbul over to Europe, you have found the best points price. Congratulations. If you're liking these step-by-step tutorials so far, please be sure to let me know by clicking that like button and subscribing to the channel for even more strategies on how to make the most out of your points and miles. While Turkish Miles and Smiles is a really useful program, not all types of points will transfer there. You're going to need either Citi, Capital One, or Build points if you want to make a transfer into Turkish. If you're in the market for a new card, but not sure which card would be best, check out the free credit card consultation form at geobreezetravel.com/consultations. We'll provide you with personalized recommendations for your next card based on your particular goals, budget, and lifestyle. You can sign up at geobreezetravel.com/consultations or click on the link in the description box. Fun fact, Istanbul is the best connected international airport in the world. That is, it has more direct international flights than any other airport. This means that you can use Turkish Airlines to fly to Europe, the Middle East, Africa, or Asia since they have plenty of routes available. Two destinations we get a ton of requests for are India and the Philippines, so here's how to use Turkish Airlines to get a business class flight over to Mumbai or Manila. Before you watch the next tutorial, try to guess how much it's going to cost in points. I bet your guess is too high because these are fantastic deals. You can find some really great deals over to India using this as well. Turkish Airlines is one of the best connected airlines in the entire world. If we search for direct flights from Istanbul over on flightconnections.com, you can see that it's connected to so many different airports, whether it's Chicago or Seattle or San Francisco, Los Angeles in the US, all the way to Japan, South Korea, different parts of China, India, Singapore, parts of Africa. So let's see if we can use this to fly from the US over to Istanbul and then over to Mumbai, India. So again, we are on the Turkish Airlines website. We are going to click on award ticket and let's search for Chicago over to Mumbai in late February, or one person for now. So here it'll say that it costs 125,000 miles if you want to fly in business class, but only 55,000 in economy. That's a little steep for me to fly one-way in business class to India on Turkish Airlines, but if you look for the ones that have the different stars, I think we will find some better pricing here. So we click on February 21st. Then you can fly from Chicago through Istanbul over to Mumbai for only 52.5 thousand miles, and this is in business class. Search for February 19, 52.5 as well, so the blue stars will provide some hint as to where you can find that saver space with Turkish Airlines. You can use Turkish Airlines to fly all the way to the Far East, Southeast Asia for fewer miles than you would expect as well. Let's do an example from Chicago over to the Philippines, which is one of my most requested destinations. Also, I know that I am disproportionately showing examples for Chicago for this tutorial. That's just where I'm happening to find a lot of Turkish Airlines availability. I promise you I have checked Houston, Newark, Denver, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., lots of other Star Alliance hubs. And if you want to take advantage of Turkish Airlines, I think that if you are willing to position to Chicago in order to do these types of searches, you're going to find a lot more availability just based off of what I'm finding through this tutorial. So let's search for something in late March again, which is a nice time to visit the Philippines. And let's go in business class. Here it's going to say it's 180,000 miles. That is pretty steep, but we do have one day here with the blue star. So if you can find that kind of saver award space, it will only cost 67.5 thousand miles to fly from Chicago through Istanbul all the way to Manila, all in business class with Turkish Airlines. A couple quick things to note when you are on this screen. I've been doing all of these examples for one person because when you click on 2 or 3 or 4, you're going to get this pop-up that says the first award ticket can only be issued under your name. If you want to have it issued for a loved one, please contact the nearest sales office, and you can't even conduct any further searches from there. So I would always just search for one person to find the availability, then see if you can call Turkish Airlines to book for more than one person, which is, again, highly inconvenient, but is how they conduct their stuff here. And then also, if you expand this drop down when you find your saver space, it will tell you what kind of plane you are looking at, whether it's Boeing B-77 widebody, A350-900, and you also have this to Istanbul layover and connecting flights, where if you're going to be on the phone anyway, booking this for your family, you can inquire about the stopovers in Istanbul if you wanted to spend a couple days exploring that. We have one more tutorial for you coming up next, and that's how to use Turkish Airlines to fly 8 hours in ANA business class, which is often ranked as one of the best business class products in the world. If you enjoy these types of step-by-step tutorials, but you're not sure how to apply it to your specific situation, we can prepare personalized step-by-step video guides for how to find and book the award travel that you want through the GeoBreeze Travel Patreon. Each month, we also have group coaching where you can ask any questions about earning more points, redeeming points, or credit cards. Like questions about the stuff that I can't really talk about on Instagram or YouTube. You can sign up by going to patreon.com/geobreezetravel or by clicking in the link in the description box. Alternatively, if you're a business owner or individual who spends more than $100,000 a year, we would love to chat with you about our points portfolio management offer, where we can show you how to get some really incredible luxury flights and hotels with the amount of points that you can earn with that level of spend. Last minute flights, around the world flights, guaranteed premium suites. Just let us know what kind of travel you would like and we will talk about how to make it happen. You can book a free intro chat with us to learn more at geobreezetravel.com/intro call. And now, here's the tutorial for how to use Turkish Airlines to fly in some other amazing Star Alliance business class products. There are some sweet spots with Turkish Airlines within another region as well. Let's go over a couple examples in Asia. So here we'll click on award ticket, and here are a couple examples that I found. So for example, you could fly from Singapore to Taipei on March 15 in business class. And I just realized I clicked on this using Turkish Airlines own awards, which is why it's riding through Istanbul. But if you wanted to fly all the way from Singapore through Istanbul back to Taipei, that's only 30,000 miles in business class. But let's see how much this would be on a partner flight. So let's go ahead and click my name, click miles transactions, click book now. All right, let's try that again. So from Singapore over to Taipei on March 15. For one person. So you could fly this either on EVA or Singapore Airlines for 20,000 miles in economy, or 35,000 miles in business class for a 5-hour flight, which is not a bad deal. There are a couple other examples as well. So let's look at if we wanted to fly from Tokyo over to Malaysia. And I found on January 8th. And so this is going to be a nearly 8-hour flight, which you could fly in ANA economy for 20,000 miles or business class for 35,000 miles with ANA business class, which is one of the best business classes in the world. This is on the Boeing 787 widebody. So let's take a look at what that plane looks like. There are a couple of different free websites that you can use to figure out what the interior of your plane will look like for a particular flight. So one is Aerolopa, and then you just scroll down and find your airline here. So I clicked on ANA, and we are looking at the 787. So they have a few different models. Here's type 1, we have a 111 configuration, or here's type 2, 121, and then here's type 3, which is 222. So I'm sure someone who is better versed in plane models than I am can answer in the comments how you know which one you're supposed to use. I do not know the answer to that. So the other website you can use is seatguru.com, and then all you need to do is type in your airline and your date of the flight and the flight number. Click on find. It'll come up with the route that we found on Turkish Airlines. So let's view this seat map. It is going to be the 121 configuration by using the 787. Those intra-Asia routes are a great way to be able to experience different flight class products like business class and ANA, which otherwise is pretty difficult to find from the United States most of the time. I ran this search from San Francisco over to Tokyo for March and looked for any Saver Award space. And as we can see here, We have an ANA flight, but we only have economy availability through partners. Same with this flight, and then same with these ANA ones. We do have some Asiana flights where there is business class availability, but when I searched for it on Turkish from San Francisco over to Tokyo for that Save Airspace date, we did not see anything in business class. All they had left was economy. So it is just a little bit trickier to find space on business class, ANA, or some of those other more aspirational flights if you're traveling from the US. But if you are traveling within a different region, like Japan to Malaysia in that last example, it does become a lot easier to find these award products. So if you wanted to do some country hopping, that is a great way to experience different kinds of business class and first class products without having to spend a ton of points. I hope you found those tutorials useful. Viewer suggestions on future topics are always welcome, so please let me know in the comments if there are any points topics that you would like for me to make a video on. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, I think you will enjoy this video next.